here's something I didn't get to do in a long time. We have a Rings of Power video that we have to talk about. So apparently, there's more news coming out for the Rings of Power, but this particular thing is a rumor. There's a new rumor going around, and this is going to be a big one for a lot of people who are fans of Tolkien. There's a rumor going around that Rings of Power is going to bring out Tom Bombadil for season 2. That's the latest rumor. And you know what? It would not surprise me in the slightest if they did bring out Tom Bombadil in season 2, even though Tom Bombadil really can technically belong there because he has been around for unknown periods of time, around since the beginning, it seems. But Tom Bombadil is basically being used in season 2 because that's going to be their crutch to try to bring in old fans of Tolkien to see what they do with Tom Bombadil. Obviously, they're probably going to ruin him. I wouldn't be surprised if they race swap him, to be honest with you. They'll probably race swap him. They won't even dress him the way he was very specifically mentioned to be dressing, I would almost guarantee you. But we're going to see what they have to say. So let's get into the article, guys. This one comes from Bounding Into Comics, and it says, rumor, Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, to introduce Tom Bombadil in Season 2. It says, a new rumor claims that Prime's Video's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power will introduce Tom Bombadil in the show's second season. Now, once again, I mentioned that Tom Bombadil is very specifically described in the books in terms of how he looks and how he dresses, especially with the blue cloth, kind of like mage suit, and the hat with the feather and the golden boots. Like, this is something that everybody knows who knows Tolkien's work, and if you do not adhere to that in any way, people are going to get pissed. So I guarantee you they're not going to. It says, this rumor comes from the OneRing.net source named Green Dragon Gossip. During a live stream on the One Rings YouTube channel, Justin Sewell claims Green Dragon Gossip informed him that the show has cast and is filming scenes with Tom Bombadil. Sewell states, spotted on the set is an actor who in the dialogue is being called Tom. The show's host, Cliff Quickbeam, Broadway, then questions, do you think that's a possible Tom Bombadil coming to visit the show? Sewell answers, it's 100% Tom Bombadil. That's what they are saying. Tom has been cast and will show up in season 2. For those unfamiliar with Tom Bombadil, Tolkien introduces him in the Fellowship of the Ring after Merry and Pippin get caught in a willow tree. Bombadil is able to free both of them and then proceeds to invite them to his home, where his wife Goldberry has prepared a table laden with yellow cream, honeycomb, and white bread and butter. When asked by Frodo who is Tom Bombadil, Goldberry tells Frodo he is. She then explained he is as you have seen him. He is the master of the wood, water, and hill. However, the land does not belong to him. Goldberry tells the hobbits when asked, no indeed, that would indeed be a burden. The trees and the grasses and all things growing or living in the land belong to each themselves. Tom Bombadil is the master. No one has ever caught old Tom walking in the forest, wading in the water, leaping on the hilltops under light and shadow. He has no fear. Tom Bombadil is master. Frodo would also posit the question of who Tom Bombadil is to him. Tom replied, what? Don't you know my name yet? That's the only answer. Tell me, who are you alone yourself and nameless? But you are young and I am old, eldest. That's what I am. And that's what I was saying before earlier in the video, that Tom Bombadil has been around since essentially, seemingly, the beginning of time. Whatever that means regarding Tolkien's work, that's up to Tolkien, but he's been around forever. He's seen everything, been everything. I mean, the guy really does, like, nobody really knows. He's one of those kind of like enigmatic figures, right? Like, you really don't know what they are, where they come from, why they have the level of power they do, seemingly within the woods. Like, he controls everything within the woods to the point where the ring doesn't affect him. He doesn't disappear when he puts the ring on. The ring has no power over him. It's just literally a piece of jewelry to him when he's in the forest. He continued, mark my words, my friends. Tom was here before the river and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn, people arriving. He was here before the kings and the graves and the Barrow-wights. When the elves passed westward, Tom was already here. Before the seas were bent, he knew the dark under the stars. When it was fearless, before the Dark Lord came from the outside. So he was here well before anybody. Bombadil was described by Tolkien in letter 144 to Naomi Mitchison as an intentional enigma. Many readers have, for instance, rather stuck at the council of Elrond, and even in a mythical age, there must be some enigmas, and there always are. Tom Bombadil is one intentionally, Tolkien wrote. That enigma comes from the fact that when Tom Bombadil puts on the One Ring, he does not turn invisible. He's also able to see Frodo when Frodo puts the ring on, as a test to confirm that it is indeed the One Ring after Bombadil returned it to him. Furthermore, Tolkien also described Bombadil's importance as a comment. He told Mitchison, Tom Bombadil is not an important person to the narrative. I suppose he has some importance as a comment. I mean, I do not really write like that. He is just an invention, who first appeared in the Oxford magazine about 1933, and he represents something that I feel important, though I would not be prepared to analyze the feeling precisely. I would not, however, have left him in if he did not have some kind of function. I might put it this way, Tolkien explained. The story is cast in terms of good side and a bad side, beauty against ruthless ugliness, tyranny against kingship, moderated freedom with consent against compulsion that has long lost any object save mere power, and so on. But both sides, in some degree, conservative or destructive, want a measure of control. But if you have, as it were, taken a vow of poverty, renounce control, and take your delight in things for themselves without reference to yourself, watching, observing, and to some extent knowing, then the question of the rights and wrongs of power and control might become utterly meaningless to you, and the means of power quite valueless. It is a natural pacifist view which always arises in the mind where there is a war. God damn, man, I swear, Tolkien, Tolkien, the way he writes is just incredible. It really is. It's incredible. And honestly, no modern day writer could ever come close to writing like this guy. And that's why they hate him so much. They envy him. Tolkien continued, but the view of Rivendell seems to be that it is an excellent thing to have represented, but that there are, in fact, with which it cannot cope, but upon which its existence nonetheless depends. Ultimately, only the victory of the West will allow Bombadil to continue or even to survive. Nothing would be left for him in the world of Sauron. So basically, he's saying that Tom Bombadil is still, even though ultimately he controls and he's the master, he's still at the mercy of what happens in the world. And if Sauron were to be victorious and have his way with the world, then even Tom Bombadil would have nothing left for him. And that's actually a big thing. In letter 153 to Peter Hastings, Tolkien further laid out his intentions behind the character. In historical fact, I put Tom Bombadil in because I had already invented him independently. He first appeared in the Oxford magazine and wanted an adventure on the way. He further detailed, but I kept him in, and as he was, because he represents certain things otherwise left out. I do not mean to him to be an allegory, or I should have given him so particular, individual, and ridiculous a name, but allegory is the only mode of exhibiting certain functions. He is then an allegory or an exemplar, a particular embodying of pure, real, natural science, the spirit that desires knowledge of other things, their history and nature, because they are other and wholly independent of the inquiring mind, a spirit coeval with the rational mind, and entirely unconcerned with doing anything with knowledge, zoology and botany and cattle breeding or agriculture. Even the elves hardly show this. They are primarily artists. Also, Tom Bombadil exhibits another point in his attitude to the ring and its failure to affect him, Tolkien wrote. You must concentrate on some pan, probably relatively small, of the world universe, whether to us to tell a tale however long or to learn anything however fundamental, and therefore much will form that point of view be left out, distorted on the circumference, or seem a discordant oddity. Now listen, with the amount of depth that he has written Tom Bombadil, okay, with the amount of depth and at the same time with the amount of just like mystery regarding this character, there is no way Amazon is going to do this character correctly. They're going to try to overly describe Tom Bombadil. They're not going to leave that enigmatic figure. They're going to try to take that mystery and they're going to try to like write it in, sort of a thing, because they're going to say, oh, look, he never actually fully told us what Tom Bombadil is. He just kind of gave us hints and clues. So we're going to be the ones to tell you who Tom Bombadil is. He's going to be our trans character. Like, I promise you, they're going to do something stupid like that because they feel like they're better writers than Tolkien. They feel like they could tell a better story. And with the way the news is going around Rings of Power Season 2 already, I promise you, they're going to absolutely completely destroy it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought of today's story, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.